For a lot of people, the Stanley Cup riot is one of the darkest days in our city's history. Hard to forget that, huh? There were thousands of people downtown on June 15th, 2011, moments after the Canucks lost to the Boston Bruins in Game 7 of the final. Rioters set fire to cars, looted stores, and taunted police, causing millions of dollars worth of damage to our city. Police fired back with tear gas, pepper spray, flash bombs, and before the night was over, at least 140 people were hurt. Now, imagine all of that brought back to life on stage as a show. That's what a Vancouver theatre company wants to do. Electric Company, along with the Hard Rubber Orchestra, is putting together a show called Riot that uses actors, live music, dance, multimedia to tell the story of the Stanley Cup riots. Now, remember, this was a crippling thing to have happen to the city, right? And so people out there have very different ideas about whether any good can come of dredging this all up again. Have a listen.
I think if we can kind of play on some darker sides of our history as a city, I think that goes to show that we're moving past it.
I think everyone knows the story, so I don't really think it needs to be told again. I don't think it's anything Vancouver's proud of, let's put it that way.
So, look, here's what we thought we'd do. We thought we'd bring in one of the artistic directors for the show, have them right here in studio to talk about it, to talk about what's planned. So, John Korsrud joins us right now. Nice to meet you, first of all.
Thank you, of course.
Now, this production, it is very much in the early stages.
That's right.
Right now. And so what is the plan for the show? I mean, what's it going to look like?
Well, it's going to be an interesting theatrical show. The audience will be standing in the middle. There'll be screens around everyone. There'll be footage of the riot. We're going to have what's called animators in the middle, who are going to be kind of acting as police officers and rioters, and so the audience can be expected to be jostled around down on the below.
They'll be right in the thick of that production going on.
So the audience will be standing, and then there's a second tier of audience that gets to be above. So if you don't want to be jostled around, you can be a little bit more separated and just kind of watch. But I'm expecting more of the older people will be upstairs, and more of the people will be downstairs.
So you intend for this to be a pretty immersive thing, and the goal is to what? Recreate the riot for people?
Well,
what is it?
Yeah, it's two sides. One is to recreate and make it in a very intense experience. We're trying to make impactful art here. The second part is to ask ourselves why something like this could happen. In all places, Vancouver, a really affluent city, where we have political stability here, we have a really high standard of living. There's a lot of strife going on the planet. So the fact that there have been two riots like this in 14 years doesn't make a lot of sense. So we want to ask a lot of questions. We're bringing the sociology and psychology departments at UBC. We want to talk to writers. We want to talk to bystanders, media, police force, Gregor. Just get people's opinions of what happened. Just try to ask some questions, hopefully get some answers.
Why do it this way, I guess, is a lot of what some people might be asking, because a lot of that conversation has happened, right? I mean, in the months and the years to follow the riot. Why turn it into a show?
Well, first of all, I believe in making art that means something. That doesn't just, I don't really believe in just making entertainment. I believe that when you create a show, people will either love it or they'll be disturbed by it. They'll talk about it afterwards. And secondly, there hasn't been a documentary about this. There hasn't been that much discussion about it. And so we're trying to figure out why in Canada something like this would happen. This has happened in Calgary. It's happened in Montreal, and I just think it's a show that had to be done.
Do you worry about how some people might receive the show? Because, to be fair, there were a lot of people for whom what happened in Vancouver was emotionally, physically devastating.
Sure.
For them. And to have this sort of, brought back up as a show, as a spectacle, might rub some people the wrong way.
Yeah, and I'm one of those people too. I was very, very upset. But it's not just about the riot in itself. Riots happen around the world. Why do people do bad things, knowingly bad things? A lot of people involved in the riots weren't just bad people. These were like A students at UBC. These are people from really good homes. So we're trying to ask ourselves why good people, when surrounded by a mob mentality, what is about the psychology that allows them to, I think I can get away with this. I think I'll do this. So it's not so much reliving this. It's just trying to understand the human psychology of something like this.
When can people see it?
Spring of 2017.
Okay, so still a ways to go.
Yes, we're in the very beginning stages. We're in the research and development stage right now.
And you want people who had experiences in the riot, to get in touch with you?
That's right. To get in touch with the electric company at info@electriccompany.com. We're looking for the interviews. We can make it anonymous if they like. We're looking for people who are right there at ground zero, just a few meters from where we are right now.
All right, John Korsrud, nice to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so here's where you tell us what you think about this production. Are you curious to see their take on the Stanley Cup Riot, or do you think that's a part of Vancouver's past that shouldn't necessarily be turned into a full-fledged stage production? You can find me on Twitter. I'm at Andrew Chang, CBC.